Welcome back to Coding Goblin. Laravel 12 is now a thing. So in this video, I'm going to be looking at 3 things. Yes, that's right. 3 things that make Laravel 12 pretty good and why you may want to consider using it. The third thing is particularly interesting because a lot of you have been leaving me comments asking me to do a video on this very thing. So let's just get straight into it. So the first thing is this really cool animation. No, that is quite cool, but that is not the first thing. The first thing is you've got options. So what do I mean by that? Well, if I log into my account, you're going to see we've got this dashboard. Now, it is also worth noting that they seem to have just sacked off Jetstream. That was the name of the starter kits, but they just seem to have just got rid of that completely and they're just calling it starter kits, which suggests to me that they're making it more of a key part of Laravel. So it's more the preferred way of using Laravel. That's my interpretation of that anyway. So if you are familiar with Laravel Jetstream, this will look kind of similar. So you've got your settings, but this is a bit different, your tabs here. Now, we've got options. So what do I mean by that? This is the default layout for the dashboard. But if we have a little look at the code, we come in here, we can see we can easily change it. So it displays a slightly different layout. So this is our project here. And if we come down to our layouts, if I can find them here, and if we have a look at app layout, for example, that is this generic layout here. If we change the sidebar layout to header layout, save that, what we're now going to see is it looks different. It's a different layout, which is nice. We can do exactly the same thing with our authentication view. So if we come back and have a quick look, actually, let's have a quick look at what it currently looks like. If we log out and we say log in, we're going to see this is the default view that we have for it. So if we come to our project code once more and have a quick look, and if we come to auth layout, we'll see the default one here is auth simple layout. So if we comment that out, and then if you change it to split layout, so have a quick look here, look, it's in this auth folder. So we've got simple, split and card. So we'll do split first, save that, and let's have a little look at what that looks like. You can see it's different, which is nice. And let's have another look at changing it to card layout, was it? Auth card layout. So if we do that, let's have a look what we got then. Save that. And you can see we've got another layout. So we have options, and this is nice because it gives us the opportunity to have different options of how our app will look without putting any effort into designing it ourselves. And of course you could do a completely custom design. That is completely up to you. The next thing I think is good about this Laravel 12 starter kit is we have access to a lot more files than we did before. So previously we had an actions folder up here, and we could do certain things. We could access the creation of users and very limited things. And if you wanted to do specific custom changes, you had to dive into the code in a way that wasn't very intuitive. Not to me anyway, but I am a moron, so maybe it was intuitive to other people, but I didn't find it intuitive. But now you're going to see we've got all of these controllers with all of this code we can access, which makes our life a lot easier. If you have very specific needs or you need to do something weird, something specific, this is going to make your life easier. You also have access to all the routes, which you didn't before. So we didn't have access to these authentication routes, which made certain tasks a bit difficult because it was all hidden away and you had to do, it felt hacky anyway, you had to do hacky things to access it. So now we don't. Now we can get into here, we can have a look at, you know, the settings routes. We can get to a lot more of the code, which we couldn't before in an easy way. Anyway, we could get it to it, but it just didn't feel right, it felt wrong. The third thing, and I'm realizing as I say this, I'm actually going to cover 4 things, not 3 things. So the 4th thing is actually the one that you lot have been banging on to me about. But the third thing is it uses TypeScript as default. Now, if you're anything like me, I always used JavaScript and I've never touched TypeScript. So when I came into the resources and had a look at some of these components, I freaked out slightly. I freaked out. Not at that one. That one I didn't freak out at, but some of them I did. Let me find one that I freaked out at. I freaked out. I freaked out when I saw stuff like this. I'm like, what is going on here? This is TypeScript, and the reason this is good is because you probably just should be using TypeScript. I should be using TypeScript. It's not complicated. I spent about half an hour looking into it, and it's actually really simple. So it means that you're going to have much more maintainable code, much tidier code. Everything's better that I can see from using TypeScript. So it's actually really good that it forces you to use TypeScript, or should I say it's using TypeScript out of the box, which would encourage you to use it as well. So that's pretty good, if not a bit scary at first, if you're anything like me, a complete moron who's been avoiding TypeScript for a long time because I didn't want to learn something new. But yeah, if you haven't been using it, now is the obvious time to start using it. So the fourth thing, and this is the thing that you lot are going to be really pleased to hear about, is that it uses Shad CN. Now, if you don't know what Shad CN is, apparently it's not a component library, but as far as I'm concerned, it's a component library. Someone can let me know why it's not a component library. I don't really care why it's not a component library, but as far as I'm concerned, it's a component library. And it's just amazing because it allows you to install or use pre-built components that are fully customizable into your project, and it just opens a lot more doors in terms of speed and, you know, getting a component that is pre-built for you rather than having to build something yourself. It's a bit of a game changer. Now, I'm not going to lie to you, when I first looked at it, I freaked out again. I didn't like it. I did not like it at all because it's very different to what I'm used to. I am used to Tailwind UI, Tailwind Plus, as some of you may know, and this is not the same. And if something isn't exactly the same as what I'm used to using, I don't like it. But I spent about an hour looking into it, and I can confirm it's amazing. So I'm using the Vue.js version of this, and it's not an official version, but it is basically, as far as I'm concerned or aware, exactly the same as the React version, which is the official, the original version. It's just a complete port over to Vue, and it's really good. It really is good. I suggest, if you're not used to it, just play around and you're gonna have your mind blown. And I now understand why all of you lot have been like, oh, you need to look at Shad CN because it's really good, blah, 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 blah. So why you've been banging on about it for so long, because it is actually really good. And look at all of these lovely components. There's just a lot. There are a lot. And yeah, it's different to Tailwind UI, Tailwind Plus, but I don't know why I hold everything up to Tailwind UI. Like, that's the only option for components, because it's really not. And the great thing about this, and a lot of you are going to love this, is that it's completely free to use. Whereas Tailwind Plus, Tailwind UI, you do have to pay to use it. I do like it, as you know, Tailwind UI, Tailwind Plus, but this is going to be a bit of a game changer, and I think it's going to encourage a lot more people to use Laravel, and specifically to use the starter kits. So yeah, I mean, I'm very impressed by it. I didn't like the change. But I think that's kind of natural, isn't it, to not like change? But yeah, it is good. It is good. So there you go. Watch this video, the end.